Action SA. Action SA, which is our local government election.
Yeah. We must.
It's not the noise much in campaign.
Yeah.
We have to use them.
I'm just
Not now.
My headset, I'm gonna hairstyle.
Hey, yeah. So
Yeah, well, I'm not brush.
Yeah. Yeah, just chop, quick.
Intensive use.
Yes.
Yeah. Immediately. Oh, okay. Welcome to the People's Eye podcast. We are broadcasting live from the Mpumalanga legislature. It is the State of the Province address, which Premier Mandla Ndlovu is expected to deliver shortly. Here we are having the provincial leader of Action SA, Umaga just to give us her expectations from the Premier, a speech he's going to deliver shortly. Ma'am Mashiane, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
How have you been? You look dressed for the part.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, quickly, as Action SA, what are you expecting from the Premier?
Okay, as Action SA, we don't expect what we had last year, which never materialized. Maybe the Premier will tell us why. But for today's speech, we're expecting him to talk about education, especially the schools that has been damaged by the floods since 2024. Secondly, health. Our health system is in tatters. Also, the youth unemployment. Remember also, I'm so disappointed that our own president of the country decided to prioritize Gauteng and Western Cape on the Zamazamas, where he deployed the army instead of bringing them to Mpumalanga. Remember, Mpumalanga has got most of those unused mines, and Zamazamas are having a play in Mpumalanga.
Especially in Babaton, I mean, they're causing havoc.
That's where the mines are. But I wonder why didn't he include Mpumalanga? Because those communities living around that area, the crime from those Zamazamas is so huge that you can't imagine. And also, our ailing municipalities, you can imagine most of our municipalities, in fact, the big municipalities, our largest, are taken over by ESCOM. It tells you something. This cadre deployment without appointing people with skills. Remember, I'm from local government. You need skills to run a municipality. Our municipalities are dead. Housing, the issue of building these RDP houses without consulting the people. People just demolish those houses and build their double stories. It tells you that people are looking for service standards. And also our road infrastructure, especially on those destinations, to the tourist destinations. We're losing tourists on our roads because our road infrastructure is not good. Our maintenance budget is very poor. One day you travel on a road, there's a small hole and it's not maintained. The next time you come, it's a dam. So if he can talk about that. And also the respect to the traditional leaders. We need that respect. It must come back because traditional Mpumalanga is mostly rural area, and our people depend on those chiefs and princes. And if you don't respect them, then people feel that our government is not doing enough for them. There's a lot, but all in all, I'm expecting from Action SA, we're expecting that whatever plan or promises, it must have a budget.
Yeah.
It must have a timeline, and it must have consequence management for failure.
Yeah, but looking at the last SOPA speech that he delivered, when it comes to the economy, very ambitious, that was expecting a 3% growth or more for the province, reducing unemployment by 25%, targeting investment of 50 billion, creating 60,000 jobs and all of that. Do you think when he presents the speech today, he's going to update us on the progress here, and have we really made progress?
That's my prayer, that he must tell us. He must tell us what he did from the previous speech and not. Let me tell you about the creation of jobs.
Yes.
We've got 2 mines.
Yeah.
Just across the road in Billy Mine and Babro.
Yeah.
If those 2 mines can open, it can create those jobs that he's talking about. It can create the economy that he talked about.
And they are gold mines. Apparently, the price of gold has been surging.
Exactly. But because they just don't want to honor the lives of the 3 victims that are underground there, that is why those mines are not open. If they can remove that container, because there are people who are interested in removing it.
Yeah.
That container can solve those 2 mines can solve a lot of his problems.
Yeah, exactly. But are there any positives that you have noticed as Action SA in the province since the last time?
Okay, yes, especially on public works. Public works is trying, but the issue is also the issue of maintenance. Maintenance. I'll always say that.
Yeah.
And of course, education with its own standards, right, left and right. The pass rate it's very good. We've got a lot of bachelors, but also we need to have the consequence management. I'm happy that this thing is coming out, but it's coming out from the whole side. The province itself never punish people who are failing to do their job. But yes, although the premier is coming from the ANC have been in power all along. But let's give him a chance. Maybe now that he's in power, he'll change things. But as long as today he's going to tell us what he did from his promises last year and why he didn't do whatever he didn't do.
Okay. No, thanks a lot, ma'am. We'll talk again after the speech and see. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
My microphone.
Oh!
Did it go well? If it went well, okay, then that is fine.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Mpumalanga Legislature is the State of the Province Address. Mandla Ndlovu is expected to be on the podium shortly, just to tell us about the plans for the province, what it has achieved, what it is planning to achieve in the next financial year and even in the next 3 years or 5 years or so. I have a guest here, Mandla Khoza. He's a journalist from Sowetan. He's based in Mpumalanga Province. He knows the ins and outs of the province. Mr. Mandla Khoza, welcome.
Thank you, Caesar, and Mr. Wasekum, and thank you.
Yeah. Well, the basic question is the Premier has not delivered his speech yet, but considering from the last SOPA up to now, what are you expecting he's going to tell us in terms of maybe achievements and probably even failures?
First of all, as the province of Mpumalanga is one of the provinces that is engulfed with unemployment, especially amongst the youth. So it is supposed to mostly speak about job opportunities and also programs that government is working on to make sure that young people are being employed in the province of Mpumalanga. You remember that agriculture, tourism and mining are some of the main drivers of our economy. At which it is to touch base and make sure that it brings about hope to the people.
Yeah, I mean, talking about unemployment rate 32.3% in the fourth quarter of 2025. That basically applies now. Although there were 37,000 jobs, but it's still a lot. 32.3% unemployment rate. And the expanded employment rate, the actual one, including those people who have given up of looking for jobs, goes to up to 49%. Do you expect that he can come up with something realistic in solving this problem?
I think what he said in the previous State of the Province address, in the matter of trying to give young people hope in terms of the Premier's Fund.
Oh, yes.
The Premier's Fund, which was 300 million budgeted for. Businesses, helping these young people to open businesses so that they can employ amongst themselves. I think those are some of the things that will help, because if you can rely on government for job opportunities, otherwise we'll have maybe a government that cannot deliver services, instead take all the money and pay salaries.
But according to your own observations, just briefly, what do you think he has achieved and what do you think are his main challenges that he really needs to address? We've already spoken about the unemployment rate, which is really too high.
I think the first achievement that I would say on him are matters, first of all, the construction of the dam in Amsterdam.
So water provision.
Yes, water provision. That is something that has been on the pipeline for years.
Yeah, but states are saying 97% of people in the province have got access to water, which is an achievement, but the 3% is a problem.
The 3% is a problem because it mostly affects the people who are very poor in far-flung areas. But when you do that, I'll commend him and the provincial government for making sure that at least 97% have got water in Mpumalanga. However, we just need to increase in drop to make sure that the water is safe in areas like Chief Agriculture, Malande.
Yeah, because that's another problem now. In places where there's water, then it's not safe. Sewage is flowing into rivers and all of that, which has been a problem.
Those are some of the key matters that you must check on. However, we commend them about that. And then another infrastructure project, Witbank hospitals and Midland hospitals, those are some of the projects through public works that they've tried by all means to bring it to life. However,
the hospitals were finished, the Midland hospital.
Yes. We commend the Premier on that one. Those are, I think, are his ace. And one issue that could help a lot is to utilize or operationalize the Mpumalanga Fresh Produce Market, which has been there for years. It can help a lot in agriculture because agri-hubs like Kono and Bushbuck, people are producing and sending their fruits. However, it gets channeled to areas of Johannesburg, as if Johannesburg fresh produce is the one that is representing one these things are coming from.
Yeah, indeed, it can be a game changer because if you look at it, the projections here, he was saying last year that 1,600 SMMEs will be capacitated to supply the market. That is 4 per ward in the province. That translates to jobs and all of that. But now, this project is amongst many projects that he inherited, and they've been under construction for over 10 years since late Deputy President's time. So he inherited a lot of projects that have not been finished, and they are costing the province a lot of money. Is he going really because in his last SOPA he was saying the fresh produce was going to be operationalized in his words softly from April 2025, but we are now in 2026. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I think one problem that they are having in Mpumalanga, at which I heard him speaking about in the previous last year's State of the Province, the issue of construction mafias. These projects have been stopped by construction mafias in the province, at which it makes it stalled into a manner that it takes all these years. I think the previous premiers and others were not taking keen interest into solving the issue of dealing with construction mafia. You look at, besides the Mpumalanga Fresh Produce Market, the parliamentary village.
Oh yeah.
The Mpumalanga parliamentary village, it has been stalled for a long time because some people who decide that they can stop the project because they want 80% or whatsoever. Those are some of the challenges that the Mpumalanga provincial government is facing. Actually, the whole country.
Construction mafias, but there's also water mafias. The water pioneers, big problem, okay?
That's the thing. That's the problem. Water mafias too. These ones, they try by all means to sabotage government projects that have to deal with providing water. They also maybe mess up with water pumps in certain areas so that municipalities can call them to sell using their water tankers. So it's a problem that I think it just needs the law enforcement agencies, specifically after the Premier instructed the NEC for community safety, to make sure that they deal with the construction mafias because it robs the people their service.
Yeah, it's a matter that cuts across crime. It also cuts across corruption. In your view, has the Premier done enough in dealing with corruption and in trying just to correct the image of Mpumalanga province as Mpumalanga, the province of a haven of corruption?
You remember that the Mpumalanga province used to be called Mpumalanga, or trust was lost amongst the people. But with the action recently of dealing with some people, especially within government, because what is happening is people cannot find a way to enter and loot government if they are not working with officials from different departments. So I think on that one, they are slowly getting there. We see the hawks are busy. We have seen recently proclamations from the president for SIU, City of Mpumalanga, Mpumalanga High Court. These are some of the investigation that we are looking at, including the Department of Health in the province. Those are some of investigations that are ongoing, the SIU and also the host. So with the recent arrest of officials and business people in the Department of Education, I think it does bring hope that if it's still from the public, we are going to report.
Yeah. Lastly, do you think the Premier has finally got the pulse of the province? Because you remember when he was appointed initially, most people were a little bit skeptical and all of that. But obviously, because of his predecessor, basically, Kiki Mabuza's name has been big and large in association in Mpumalanga province. So whoever came after him, it was a matter of somebody operating under his shadow for some reason, and even extended to Premier Ndlovu, even though there was Premier Refilwe Mthweni before he. Do you think he has finally, got things under control?
I think he's getting there. For example, the issue of visibility in almost all corners of the province, coupled with his political control of the province. We have seen him traversing the whole province, false crust, coming down to Bushbuck Ridge, Marapiani. So I think it starts politically to not live in a shadow of somebody. Actually, it's a fact. The former deputy president's shadow has been shadowing most of the people in Mpumalanga. But I think Premier Mandla Ndlovu is getting there and he's holding it nice. You'll understand there are a few glitches here and there, specifically in the area of Bushbuck Ridge, where it's just been disrespected because he's a Shangani and others are using tribalism to try to maybe tarnish his name. However, we have seen him delivering services in all the corners of the province, including Bushbuck Ridge, where people who are Fulani speaking will think, no, Premier Mandla is focusing on those who are Shangani. So we have seen him going to community Muroro, Tinfalo is being paid before everyone. Those are some of the things that he's getting there.
No, thanks a lot. I think we're going to catch up after the delivery of this. But thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you, Caesar. Thanks to the listeners of the People Side. Thank you.
Yebo, buya ngala emuva ngibonile ngala ngishone khona. Ngala ku media. Ba media house. Uyabona la khona and then you come. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Welcome again. We've quickly grabbed the leader of the EFF in Mpumalanga, Mr. Colin Sedibe, just to give us his expectation, basically. Welcome, Mr. Sedibe.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yende. Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, we finally caught you. You've been running away from this platform.
No. We have not called me. You can't run away from it.
Okay, quickly, man. You know, it's SOPA today. We're expecting the Premier to deliver, basically to tell us his achievements, probably his challenges. What do you expect as the EFF from him today?
We're expecting nothing. Year in, year out, we are coming here for a SOPA during this time. It's a talk shop. They just give us a wish list and nothing is happening. Where is the 3 terms that they promised the people of Mpumalanga in Bombela and Hertzibane?
Yeah.
Where is the International Convention Center that they promised the people of Mpumalanga 20 years ago? Where is the multi-purpose center that they promised the people of Mpumalanga? Where is the Nkosi City that they promised the people of Pinar? It's worse. It's empty promises. So we are just here to listen because we are members of the legislature by law. We are required to be here. There's a very serious problem in this province. Go to Mpumalanga Hospital, there's no water. Families of the patients have to bring basket of water for their patients to bath and drink. Go to Temba Hospital, at some stage it didn't have water. Standard Hospital and so forth. How can a hospital be without water because water is clean? Yeah. All the townships of Mpumalanga and villages, they've no water. Water is a commodity today. They buy water. They are forced to buy water and it's expensive. Where's water? Because year in, year out, we pass budget in the provincial legislature, in the municipalities. There's municipal infrastructure grant for water. They appoint tenders and so forth. Where's the water?
Yeah.
Where does the money go?
Yeah. You characterize his leadership or the ANC government's leadership as doing absolutely nothing.
Failing. They've been failing from his predecessors. Because in government, we've got this thing that we call successor-in-law. So if you get into the shoes of your predecessor, you must continue with one. And it's one government. Mpumalanga is still led by ANC government. Commitments that were made by Thabang Makwetla, Titi Mabuza, by all the predecessors, referendum train, they are still not there. Where's the Maputo corridor in Tembisela? For the communities of Tembisela. Okay. It's not there.
What do you think then should be done for the province? Or what he should do? Obviously, he's still the Premier. I know your answer is going to say probably people must change their vote and vote another party, but since he's sitting on this seat, what does he need to do in order to turn things around?
I don't think he's got a plan. That's the problem. He just have to finish up the projects and the commitments that were made by his predecessors. The SEZ, the ICC, as I've mentioned, the multi-purpose, the hospitals. They are still not complete. Mpumalanga Hospital and so forth. Because there's no new project or legacy of himself that he has put on place in his plan. There's no job creation plan. There's no economic growth plan. The Mpumalanga Economic Growth Agency is dead. It does not know what it's doing. It can't bite. So we've got a very serious challenge. You need a leadership that can think outside the box, and we need a government that is implementing. It can't be empty promises all the way, and everything is not done.
Okay, thanks a lot for your time. I think we're gonna catch up after he has delivered the speech and reflect.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you once more. We're available since we can't run away. Thank you.
Usman.
Okay, welcome once again. We have the deputy leader of the Democratic Alliance in Mpumalanga Province, Ms. Trudy Morgan. Welcome.
Good morning, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, it's a good day for the province, the state of the province address. What do you expect Premier Mandla Ndlovu to say today?
Well, as a Democratic Alliance, we expect him today to speak on economic growth of the province. What is he going to do to ensure that the economy of the province is growing? On job creation, this is one of our biggest things, because so much young people in the province are sitting without jobs, and we think it's very vital that as a premier, he should come up with a strategy that gives the young people a hope that there will be jobs in the province.
Yeah. He spoke about those things in the last State of the Province address. With regards to youth employment, he talked about the Premier's Youth Development Fund, MMFs, which was allocated 300 million rands, those kinds of projects. Have they really made any difference?
You know, I'm a chairperson of the Premier's office, the committee, and the Youth Fund has created a few jobs. I did oversight just to make sure that the money's doing the job it's supposed to be doing. I've met a lot of young people that have benefited from the Youth Fund, but it's still not enough. Because like a young person starts a project and they employ 3 other young people, whereas we've got 47% of the youth in Mpumalanga unemployed. So we need more initiatives like the Youth Fund that will create jobs. You know, it doesn't only have to come from government. I think as a premier, he needs to make sure that he invites investors into the province. We've got also tourism, which is very strong in the province if it's run properly. But at the moment, tourism is not doing well because the maintenance of the tourist sites is very bad. They need to put more budget on that. Make sure that by the time the budget comes out, they've put more budget on infrastructure for tourism. Tourism can create a whole lot of job opportunities.
Yeah. Looks like the main thing, your main concern is mainly about job creation, economic growth. Are there any other issues that you think we should cover? You think he has fallen short in terms of...
Another issue that we have fallen short of in the province is when it comes to education. He needs to look into education. The schools are overcrowded. When I sat in one of the finance meetings, it was said that there is no money to build new schools. So if they cannot build new schools, what is going to happen in the next 5 years? You understand? He needs to address the issue of schools. He needs to go in. As much as we want the economy to grow and we want job creation, but we need to get our children educated, and they need decent education. So that is very important to us. Then you look at health. Health is also one of the great problems in Mpumalanga. The hospitals are not getting completed, the new hospitals that are being built. You've got the one in Bushbuck Ridge. It's been years. And there's still nothing happening there. So we need him to look at projects like that. Make sure that these hospitals are functioning. People can get the help that they deserve. Because Mpumalanga is a rich province, but it needs to be managed properly. I always say, running a province is more like a business. You need to make sure that you put the right finances in the right places. Yes.
In short, what would you say has been the Premier's biggest failure, and what would you say has been his biggest achievement so far since he took over?
I think let's start with failures. His biggest failure, I think, he believes too much much the reports that he receives from the departments. He needs to start taking an initiative and being on the ground and following those projects, making sure that what is on paper is what is happening on the ground. He needs to be more vigilant. You know, he must be like a watchdog. Yeah, and make sure that those things are happening because, but some of his achievement, like the Youth Fund, is one of his achievements. I think it's the first time in his term, since he's been a premier, that the Youth Fund is actually working. And he listens when, as a committee, when we talk about what he should implement, he listens and he implements it. So that's one of pluses for him. But there's still a lot of work to be done in the province because it's a big mess. Yeah.
No, Trudy, we hope to catch up with you after he's delivered the speech and see how far he has gone.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thanks.
It's okay. Okay, welcome back again. We are having with us the provincial leader of the Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, MK Party. As you can see, he's dressed in the regalia, a signature regalia of the party, Mr. Benon Ngumayo. Mr. Ngumayo, welcome.
Thank you.
To the People's Side podcast. Basically, it's a big day. The Premier has not delivered the State of the Province address, but we'd like to know from you, what do you expect him to say? What do you expect him to say in terms of achievements and failures of the province?
Well, thank you very much. Apart from lying, we want him to go back to 2025. His State of the Province address.
Yeah.
He promised to have jobs, failing infrastructure, development, and the youth employed in all spheres of government.
Yeah.
We want him to go back there. and come with a solution and as a result. In terms of percentage, this is how much we achieved, this is what we wanted to achieve, and then we will now listen to the second lie in 2026 that is going to deliver. So that's basically what we're going to listen to him and expect him to say. Apart from lying, he must also explain how, remember in the late 2025 towards 2026 in Mpumalanga, ex-ANC was exposed in terms of the flood and the failing infrastructure, youth not employed and stuff. So we want him to account. All we want is accountability. Remember, we are not in this parliament just to oppose. You call us opposition party. We are not here to oppose. Our people sent us here. So if there's anything positive that is giving, we're going to support that. Hence, as members of the legislature, we attend all portfolio committees so that we can fast track the MECs to account as to what happened to the state of the province last year, what achievements are there. So all those things needs us as members of the legislature to hold him accountable. So today it's another day where he's going to go back and say, this is what happened. I promised 100 jobs. I achieved 5 or 90 or 100. And we want accountability. We know he's going to lie here. But at least let him know that Abantu base Mpumalanga, they are looking at him as the leader of government.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm picking up, I've spoken to a few guests here, and the theme around which people are commenting is the issue of jobs. Obviously, it's the issue of economic growth. Is enough being done in terms of growing the economy so that the youth and everybody can get jobs? Are there anything, any projects that, or rather any investment that has come through in the province in order to grow the economy?
Nothing. If you go back to the Anderson Street in Nelspruit, you go to tax rank, 99% of the people who are benefiting from that area only, they're from Mozambique. One, they are not paying tax. Number two, they are not buying fuel from South Africa. He gets full tank from Mozambique, afigela namapawa, namakinat, and all that. They sell here, and then they take money here, go back to Mozambique. Basebenzisa ama toilet wethu. Basebenzisa is-country sethu. They are using everything here, but for the benefit of them there. If the government had done thorough investment in our people, they would have been our bosses now. Because if somebody from Mozambique would come here and sell umbila, and for the benefit of somebody who's sitting comfortably in Mozambique. Now it gives you a point where you say, it means maybe these politicians benefit from the Mozambican government, because Mozambique is getting more than 40% of the financial background in Mpumalanga. Now, all of this, it gives you a question of who are we in Mpumalanga? Do we have leadership? Who do we account to? Because the Premier will come here today, start lying, and then we'll have another year. He will come back next year, say the same thing. Now, where do, as MPs and as opposition party do? If we want to take government, we must start now. We must not wait for the ANC to finish what is left, so that when we come into government, there's nothing to look to. Because now everything it's worse. But now, going forward, we want him to tell us what happened to the budget, to his SOPA speech last year until yesterday. Then after that, then he can start lying about 2026 going forward and so on.
You raise an issue about immigration, basically. If you mentioned the issue of Anderson Street and being occupied predominantly by people from outside of this province. What is your suggestion about controlling that? Mozambique is a neighbor of Mpumalanga, obviously, and even Swaziland. You will expect an influx of people from those two countries, especially with their economic situation, with the volatile political situation in Mozambique. It just stabilized, but it's a ticking time bomb always. Yeah.
It needs to start from the border. We don't hate our brothers from Mozambique. The person Okata in Lapa is from Mozambique and is benefiting from you. Now, what about our youth who are unemployed sitting down there? Now, it goes back to the issue of how do we control that? Because the police are involved. The soldiers at the border are involved. Government officials are involved. So it's a very big cartel of people who are coming to South Africa, benefiting somebody sitting somewhere comfortably. You go to his speech last year, the Honorable Premier, he spoke about the farming, the agriculture industry, giving jobs to South Africans. Until today, you go to all these farms, 100% of the employees are from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and everywhere else. None is coming from South Africa.
Yeah, but the main question in people's minds is, do the South African youth want to do those kinds of jobs, like being a barber, as you mentioned, selling on the street, and all of that?
We have a culture in South Africa that is created by the politicians. Weekend siyaphuza. Ungathola 350. I-350 uyithola next to uyithola ngala a shop, a box. Ngala kune boxer liquor. Then you go from here, you go there, you buy liquor. That's the culture that the politicians instilled in our youth. Now, every person you meet on the street, labantwana bethu, the only thing that they think...
How do you blame the politicians for, causing people to drink, prefer to drink?
Yes, I grew up in the industry myself. I was in the industry where we were admiring these politicians. A politician will come with an expensive bottle. That's what I want to have. And I don't think our youth are to be blamed because number one, we don't have sports creations in our townships. There's nothing to do there.
There must be sports.
There must be, yes, exactly. Now, when you go to the issue of South Africans who want to cut hair and all that, when you were growing up, there was a person there who had a barber shop, South African. Herman Mashaba, for instance, is from that industry. You understand? Now, what I'm saying is we need to have our children and our youth be inspired by us as politicians. Politicians now, it's Friday tomorrow, they will go to the campuses of these young ones, then they will take them to coyotes and all that. Those are politicians. So there's nothing positive about our youth that Tina as politicians we are instilling in them. Instead of I spoke about dilapidating infrastructure. There's a stadium that is full of grass. Everywhere is grass. Now, you ask yourself, if the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, it's really for the people of South Africa, they would have done something to create sports for the youth so that we can have a positive youth going forward. Nyaupe is there. There are big businesses who are benefiting from drugs, who are benefiting from Nyaupe, who are benefiting from all these other ailments that are facing our youth.
Okay. Now, you've said a mouthful, but hopefully let's catch up after the speech and see what it really delivers, what we expected.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Mr.
Thank you very much. Okay, thanks. No, so...
Na indoda esiyimisile leya. Expect what's your view?
Yeah.
Welcome back again, just for an independent voice on the speech that the Premier is about to deliver, the State of the Province Address of Mpumalanga. We have a current affairs anchor at Rise FM, which is the only commercial radio station in Mpumalanga, Musa Skosana. Musa, welcome, my brother.
Thanks, my brother. Appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, it's a big day today, and we are a veteran. You've been covering Mpumalanga news for a long time.
Yeah.
You know the province very well, better than I do, actually.
That's not true. When you know Pixliga Isagaseme. But a lot of people know that municipality in our province.
Yeah. Let's get to business. Premier Mandla Ndlovu is expected to deliver yet another State of the Province address.
Sure.
What do you expect, considering what he spoke about maybe in 2025? In terms of the economy, he spoke about the need to grow the economy by at least 3%, creating jobs, 60,000 jobs, youth employment, service delivery, water, electricity, and so on and so forth. But what will be the main things that you expect the Premier to touch on?
Just coming into today's SOPA, I was just thinking about how the foot and mouth disease is widely spreading, right?
Yeah.
There's now also suggestions, by scholars to say it might affect some of the tourism sites, simply because the cows leading up to the buffaloes in the Kruger National Park. That's among the many. In fact, that's our key strong destination in the province. When you look into tourists that come to Mpumalanga, be it national or international, they come primarily for the Kruger National Park largely, and then they end up at the obviously Graskop area, right?
Yeah.
So if we have a problem at Kruger National Park as a result of the foot and mouth, we might dip in terms of our tourism arrivals. You'd remember that last year, Mpumalanga recorded the second after Gauteng in terms of international tourists. So we might dip as a result of government not proactively dealing with the foot and mouth. And I think that in as much as it's a national competency, I think the Premier must, to a large extent, give charge to the MEC of the Department of Agriculture, MEC Ketio Moiket, to actually come into the space to quarantine some of the farms that are affected, more especially in the Tanzania area, in the Kangala area as well, because we've got some of the sites there that are affected, right? And in the Hertzbande area as well. I think that's primarily one of the many other things I think the Premier must pay an interest on. Look, the Premier has a good story to tell today. He comes into the State of the Province address having the unemployment rate of the province reduced from the 34 to 32.2%, right? So that's a good story. But I wonder if the Premier is able to attribute it to the efforts of the provincial government. Because largely, when you look at where the employment has been, it's in the financial sectors. Yes, it's in the agricultural space, and not so much in the public work space, like construction sites, right? But obviously, we have not adequately dealt with the issue of construction mafias. Remember, there was this issue of intensifying, police contingents around, some of these construction sites. You still got, in fact, hospitals that have not been completed, right? At the likes of Mpumalanga. There's worrying stories that are coming out from there. And I think the Premier needs to balance it out. It's going to be a tough thing to do. Remember, he can't disown the previous administrations. In as much as this is his second State of the Province address, the fact that the fresh produce market is not complete, well, they would say it's complete, but it's not functional.
Talking about that, when he came in as the Premier, he inherited a lot of incomplete projects. The fresh produce being one of them, high altitude center, creative arts hub, and many others. Big projects. Okay, the boarding schools, at least some work has been done there. So he comes, he inherits a problem. And those projects we're talking about have been in the making for close to 15 years.
I agree with you, Caesar. Look, in as much as the Premier did push certain other things, for instance, he got the fresh produce market to a better state than it is when he took over. And then you have the Mkondo boarding school. He has since handed it over. I'm told it's functional. I've never been there since it has been officiated, but I know there are learners that are going there, right? So for me, in as much as that is the case, you still have the parliamentary village. It's been there for quite a number of years. Even now,
you spoke about the issue of construction mafias.
It plays a part, and it will be very interesting to see how the Premier navigates around some of the projects that are not completed, because there's quite a lot of those projects. I mean, recently in the province, in fact, this year, the Portfolio Committee on Health came into the province. They went into Mpumalanga, and they were not happy with the report they got there, because what they got there is that patients are not getting water. So the family members of the patients have to bring water to the patients. And now we have a hospital, right? So these are some of the things that are worrying. I mean, they spoke of one of the laboratories there or the theater room not working. Now this is a hospital. I know the other phase is being constructed, of which the portfolio committee looking after public works, they also came into the province and said it's not feasible that come the end of June this year, that project will be complete. So you still have a lot of projects that are not completed. I mean, let's go back to the fresh produce market. There's so many allegations there. Among them is the inability to occupy the building, because those that know it, they say from the inception stage, Mbombela municipality was not a part of it. So now you have the administrative issue besides the construction issue, an administrative issue, because you can't hand over a building for occupancy without the occupancy certificate coming from the host municipality.
So now that touches on the issue of government-to-government cooperation,
sure.
Local, provincial, and even national.
Fully agree. Then, Caesar, I think we need to talk about municipalities. They are in a bad condition. Most municipalities in this province can't provide water, right? And Mpumalanga, it's not really a water scarce province, even though in some parts of Her, like Governor Mbeki, they get their water from Gauteng. I mean, where are the dams the Premier spoke about in his previous address? Because he spoke about building 3 dams. To date, there's not been any sort turning. There's not been any sign to show that there are going to be dams. One of those dams was supposed to be built in Mbombela. I mean, there are no signs.
So the stats are saying 95.9% of the population in Mpumalanga has got access to water. Is that an achievement, or?
Look, it could be an achievement if you look at it from a sense of where we come from as a country. But even in that 95%, Caesar, the fact that I have a tap, and if I open it, amanzi angcolile comes out,
defeats the whole purpose.
I mean, I'm counted as people who are getting water, but I'm unable to use the water. Take, for instance, what's going on in Dipalisek. The municipality there, earlier this month in fact, in January now, the municipality took out a statement in saying, well, sorry, we are going to be giving you amanzi angcolile because we don't have enough chemicals to clean the water. I mean, what is that? What is that?
But now, every time we talk about municipalities, the AG emphasizing the very same issues year after year. Where do you think the ANC is losing it? Most of the municipalities are predominantly ANC. Where do you think it's losing it in terms of in local governments?
Let's professionalize the local government space. Professionalize it. This thing of comrades is not working. I'm sure by now they know. But this thing of, because you were singing the loudest in the rallies, because you were there when we were providing, food parcels, because you carried the t-shirt and distributed it, it's not working. They need to get the professionals within the ANC to come into the municipality spaces, not only to be in the administration side, but to be also councillors. See, it's bad when you listen to council, right? I mean, some of the decisions are taken in council. You wonder if the councillors are reading the Municipal Systems Act, they are reading the Structures Act, because some of the things they're saying are bizarre. They're not even on the act. Then you wonder, I mean, as a person, you wonder how. The general process of appointing, let's take for instance, for a municipal manager, right? The municipality would do the parts, and then when it comes to council, there are names that must come to council.
Yeah.
And then you sift through, you look at, okay, who's the best performing, who scored the most in terms of the competency test, and then you recommend to the MEC. The MEC needs to look into the process and say, no, everything, I'm satisfied with it. The candidate you are recommending for appointment, I agree with them. Then subsequently, you appoint. Take, for instance, what happened in Khoma's local municipality. It's bad. I mean, I was even disappointed in the communication of the municipality, because in the same day, council was going through the recommended names of who the municipal manager is. Communication went out to post and said, congratulations. That's not how things are done.
Yeah.
You need to wait for the process for the MEC to come back and say, okay, cool, I'm fine, you can appoint Sisu. And then there, the municipality can say, congratulations, Sisu. It can't be that at the offset of council, all of a sudden the municipalities. You see, for me, it speaks to the thing that even the councillors in the ANC, they don't see anything wrong. And those are some of the things I think, no, but guys, when we go into council, how can we then trust you with the millions and billions that have been conferred to your coffers if you guys can't take care of these small things?
But don't you think the lines between the party and government are blurred?
Because you are right, Sisu. I think the ANC has been used to governing alone, right? And you know, there's a joke I make around my family, because some of them, they work in the space of local government. They will tell you that when they go to councils, those are agree. They don't even interrogate reports. They say agree, right? But those are some of the things that are detrimental to our municipalities, to our communities, because you can't go to council and agree, whereas you have not perused the document and you are satisfied with the content of the document, right? So for me, I think those are some of the things that, for the longest of time, the ANC has been governing alone. Take, for instance, in hung councils that we have in the province. Governing Mbeki, Lekwa, and Iptwe, right? These are the 3 hung councils we have out of the 17 municipalities. There you are seeing a robust debate in some of those municipalities, because it's not a all size fit all. You know, there you have reports going back because they don't agree. And for me, that's the maturing of our democracy, because the people now are starting to have voices. The communities are starting to say to their own constituencies or to their own parties they voted for, no, but guys, look into this thing. And then when you get into council, people are interrogating. I mean, you look at Steve Tweed, there's now currently, a matter that is before court as a result of the substation, because the opposition took it up and said, no, there's something fundamentally wrong here. Look into governing big. There's always, the ANC mayor there, the councillor Nhlakanipo Zuma, he's kept on his toes. He has to perform because the opposition is holding him accountable. Take, for instance, what's going on in Lekwa. They are opposing everything that they think is not beneficial to the community. So I think those are signs of maturing democracy. And I think leading up to the local government elections this year, people need to pick their councillors very well. I mean, it's not going to work.
Talking about local government, do you think the Premier's speech, he will be really canvassing votes for the ANC?
Look, it's political, it's election year. Now and then, he has to assure the constituents of the ANC that they've done well, right? Obviously, he might not entirely spend a lot of time talking about it, but now and then, you would use phrases like the ANC government, so that it still reaffirms the commitments, it still affirms, obviously, the achievements, because if he says government, government could mean something else to somebody else, right? So he has to emphasize and say the ANC government has delivered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it'll be very interesting to see which are some of those deliverables he'll be talking about.
Lastly, just your analysis with the local government nearing, elections nearing, the ANC having lost a significant number of voters. I mean, they're at 52%, if I'm not mistaken. How are they going to perform?
One of the things I've been trying to gauge is whether, because currently we've got 3 hung councils. I am thinking coming up with these local government elections, we're going to have more hung. Simply because even Mbombela was highly contested. I mean, we downplay the impact of the MK party in Mbombela. They came into some of the wards. Mind you, it was general elections. Imagine if it's now under what base? We are going to have a lot of hung councils. I foresee what is also glaring to me is that even some of the municipalities we have deemed as rural municipalities, we might have hung councils there.
Yeah. Okay. No, thanks a lot for coming through. Hopefully after the speech we can reflect again.
Without a doubt, man. I wish this platform well, and I know you've also graced us. I can't wait for my turn.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Followed by our fourth and final platoon.